There was one gentleman in the physical plant at Penn State University that really didn't want this to happen. Just leave it well enough alone. I don't want to see this nonsense going on. I don't want anybody down there working around. I don't want anybody changing the course of history now. So the gentleman over his head, and I'm not going to throw names out, but the gentleman over has long retired, and I don't think he's living now. But he was very much interested in what I had to offer. He wanted to see this done. He realized that what happened was not good. He realized that Spring Creek was taking it on the chin, and if I had a plan, and let's see where I could go with it. So the gentleman under him that didn't want this to happen said, well, you have to have DER's approval, and basically you're not going to get it, because who are you? I jumped in a car. I drove to Harrisburg. I found out where he was located, DER was, and I went to the office, and the lady said, what is this about? And I said, well, this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm trying to do. And she said, well, no, this has to be on, you have to submit this to this person, and then you have to submit it a whole rigmarole, okay? And while she was talking, the door was open in the office, and the guy says, who is that out there? She said, what's your name? And I said, my name is Joe Humphreys. Oh, send him in. I walk in, and it's the top gun. I can't think of his name now, and names we're not going to use. So anyhow, he said, what do you want to do? And I said, I got to reroute that damn spring around that duck pond. I said, it's killing Spring Creek. He said, it never should have happened. He says, what do you want? I said, I want permission to do it, to get a sluice around the duck pond and bring Spring Creek back and get that stream flowing free again. He just sat down and wrote it out right there. And he says, you've got permission. This will give you all the permission you need. I took it back and laid it on the guy's desk. I thought I heard his jaw hit the desk. It couldn't happen. You can't do this. This is impossible. But there it is. And so his boss said, go ahead. So at that time, Hawbaker was dredging the duck pond. And they had all their equipment down there. And they had a lot of rock and all kinds of stuff going. And I knew the foreman, his name was Whitey. And I said, Whitey, I need help. And he said, what do you want? And I said, can you get a backhoe in here and dig this out? Where the sluice would go, and so we had a wall to go through, a foot thick wall to go through. And he said, yeah. So he got a backhoe in there, and he dug this whole thing back around and started the end of the sluice where it would be. And he said, how are you going to get through that stonework? And I said, I don't know. And he said, you can't do it without an air hammer. You need a compressor and an air hammer. I said, I guess I do. He says, I'll have one down there for you tomorrow. So he had all of this stuff, and then I got my buddies, and we took turns drilling this hole. We knew basically how big it had to be. And so we knocked a hole through the wall. And then I went to a Herb Imp, and who had the quarry here at the time, and I said, I need a big pipe. He says, how big do you need it? And I said, this is this big. He says, when do you want it? And I said, I don't know. When can you deliver it? How about tomorrow? It was there the next day. We put the pipe in. The second in command at the physical plant said, I am going to have you in jail. I'm going to put you in prison. You are doing these things that you have no right to do. You don't know where lines are. You don't know where connections are. You don't know where anything is. And you can ruin all these things that are here. And he said, I'm saying, I'm going to jail for this. And so I talked to the number one man again, and he said, don't worry about it. He says, we'll take care of it. And so we kept working. And so Hawbaker said, okay, yeah, what do you want? And so I said, this is what we have to do. So he got this big backhoe in there, and he just took the bank and made himself a road. And he took the far bank and just kept coming and just kept coming. So he made a sluice. And so the water ran. And Spring Creek came back. And it came back in 2 years, it came back. And there were trout that nobody ever dreamed was there. And the fishing was fantabulous, you might say.
Because trout fishing in Spring Creek was soon
went
to
downhill.
be a thing of the past.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't have, somebody wouldn't have stepped
right.
in.
Yeah. And look how many people are enjoying it today. Hundreds of people.